Hello, thank you so much for taking the time to check out the project. So my name is Alex Johansson, I'm the designer behind MORSE. I'll just say up front, I'm recording this quite late at night, so if my volume's quite low, apologies. Yeah, I'm just trying to be quiet for my neighbours. MORSE is a strategy game that teaches you the actual secret language of Morse code. You can use the telegraph to operate the game with, but it can be played with mouse and keyboard. The game is designed as a tool to teach this secret language and also to provide a entry point to amateur radio as a hobby. And just to give a quick summary of the premise of the game is it's set in the First World War, around the time of the Battle of Jutland, in like a fictional skirmish where the German army is approaching under the cover of darkness, and you can't see enemy ships because they're hidden. So similar to battleships, you have to fire to locate the locations of enemies, so you're effectively revealing enemies with your muzzle flash, and you move around the grid to target these enemies by using Morse code. So you can see on this preview here, I'm using this telegraph to enter dots and dashes, and you can see those dots and dashes swirling around on this LED rope that I've installed. And this is what I usually use to exhibit the game when I'm at games events and amateur radio festivals. And like the enemies approach from the right, you're kind of facing down the German Navy, and you locate the enemies and then target them. And in between waves, once you've beaten all the enemies, you'll get the opportunity to upgrade your arsenal. So I'm going to pick heavy shell. And then you get a little prompt explaining a little narrative beat. And you can see here this word gunboats has been highlighted. So that is the kind of main code word that's going to be used for the grid. So you can see gunboats is across the top. So I'm going to place some sea mines to protect my back line. And then I'm going to start targeting the ships. And over the course of the game, the grid grows kind of longer as the kind of breach of the blockade grows. The words continue to change. You get more upgrades. You fight bigger ships, and the bit that most excites me is that people become better at Morse code through playing it. And I've had people get in touch via the Steam forums and reviews saying that they have become proficient from playing the game. The bit that interests me more is that people have gone that extra mile and got licensed, so they've actually connected with their local amateur radio group and can now do amateur radio online. And I have made a conscious effort as part of the game to try and make the game as appealing to and as approachable to amateur radio as possible. So Morse code is commonly used by national radio groups to encourage young people to kind of engage with the hobby, and this is like a kind of an existential thing within the hobby, because the average age of amateur radio enthusiasts, even though there's 3 million approximately internationally, the average age is 70. So unless something serious happens, which a lot of people are trying to do in the next 20 years, the hobby is going to see a very, very sharp decline in membership. I want Morse to be a tool, for it to serve as a tool to bring young people into this hobby that is at risk of losing a substantial membership. And what's been wonderful is people within the amateur radio scene have been extremely receptive to that and have been very open to kind of giving recommendations and suggesting things to add. Just to give like a quick anecdote, like within the pause menu, the game has like an extensive manual that explains about the game, but then also gets into things like how to get into amateur radio, licenses, different terms used in Morse code and in amateur radio, how to get started, different other tools. So I've specifically made sure that, you know, other games that do similar stuff with amateur radio and Morse code are included, and even clubs to kind of look up. So I really, really want this to be a point of enrichment for culture rather than you know, pulling people away from communities and culture. Because, you know, obviously I've grown up playing games and I, you know, love playing games, but like I do find that like a lot of gaming is oriented around escapism, which is valid as a pursuit, but the consequence of that immersion as a means of escapism is that people engage with culture less, and specifically with like community in-person groups less. And the consequence of that is that you know, hobbies like this are at risk. So I think as developers, immersing yourself in these kind of cultures and communities and then tailoring experiences to help bring people to them is something worth trying to do. And it's easier said than done. I certainly won't be building a game of this scale ever again, because you know, it took, you know, Morse took 10 years to finish, and it's been through a lot of iterations. I'm very glad it's done. It's done okay. Seems to have been received well. But I'm using the funding from, also the success of how the game is done, to fund my research, which is specifically around building games for people living with dementia. And more broadly, I want to build games for the elderly, because there's just most of games are catered to the young. So that's what I'm on with next, but I will be continuing to update this game. I'm going to be taking it to Friedrichshafen, which is the European Amateur Radio Festival. It got featured in Radcom, which was like the radio magazine for the UK last month, which was awesome. And yeah, I'm just so excited to be, and I'm going to be getting my amateur radio license in the next couple of months. So, which will mean I'll get a call sign and I'll get to actually send Morse code. So it's been lovely to give to that hobby, but then also, you know, kind of get back so much from the people and from, yeah, I like at the moment I've been doing like a full-blown like online course, like learning about electronics and radio signals, and it's great. It's been such an point of enrichment for me. So yeah, that's basically everything I want to say. Thank you so much for considering Morse for Indiecade, and if there's anything I can do to help with setup, or if you have any questions about building your own telegraph, don't hesitate to get in touch, because there's a big homebrew community on the Steam forums where people have built their own telegraph keys. We actually designed a custom telegraph key for players to print and assemble themselves. That's the teaspoon telegraph that's online and available for free. And yeah, like we just want to encourage more people to get into amateur radio and to help the hobby. So yeah, that's everything. Thank you so much for your time, and take care.